Web Daily Bible, Day 127, 1 Chronicles, Chapter 28. David assembled all the princes of Israel, the princes of the tribes, the captains of the companies who served the king by division, the captains of thousands, the captains of hundreds, and the rulers over all the substance and possessions of the king and of his sons, with the officers and the mighty men, even all the mighty men of valor, to Jerusalem. Then David the king stood up on his feet and said, "Hear me, my brothers and my people. As for me, it was in my heart to build a house of rest for the ark of the Lord's covenant, and for the footstool of our God, and I had prepared for the building. But God said to me, 'You shall not build a house for my name, because you are a man of war and have shed blood.' However, the Lord, the God of Israel, chose me out of all the house of my father to be king over Israel forever. For he has chosen Judah to be prince, and in the house of Judah, the house of my father. And among the sons of my father he took pleasure in me to make me king over all Israel. Of all my sons, for the Lord has given me many sons, he has chosen Solomon my son to sit on the throne of the Lord's kingdom over Israel. He said to me, 'Solomon your son shall build my house and my courts, for I have chosen him to be my son, and I will be his father. I will establish his kingdom forever, if he continues to do my commandments and my ordinances, as it is today.' Now therefore, in the sight of all Israel, the Lord's assembly, and in the audience of our God, observe and seek out all the commandments of the Lord your God, that you may possess this good land, and leave it for an inheritance to your children after you forever. You, Solomon my son, know the God of your father, and serve him with a perfect heart and with a willing mind. For the Lord searches all hearts, and understands all the imaginations of the thoughts. If you seek him, he will be found by you, but if you forsake him, he will cast you off forever. Take heed now, for the Lord has chosen you to build a house for the sanctuary. Be strong and do it." Then David gave to Solomon his son the plans for the porch of the temple, for its houses, for its treasuries, for its upper rooms, for its inner rooms, for the place of the mercy seat, and the plans of all that he had by the Spirit, for the courts of the Lord's house, for all the surrounding rooms, for the treasuries of God's house, and for the treasuries of the dedicated things, also for the divisions of the priests and the Levites, for all the work of the service of the Lord's house, and for all the vessels of service in the Lord's house. Of gold by weight for the gold for all vessels of every kind of service, for all the vessels of silver by weight, for all vessels of every kind of service, by weight also for the lampstands of gold, and for its lamps of gold, by weight for every lampstand and for its lamps, and for the lampstands of silver, by weight for every lampstand and for its lamps, according to the use of every lampstand, and the gold by weight for the tables of showbread, for every table, and silver for the tables of silver, and the forks, the basins, and the cups, of pure gold, and for the golden bowls by weight for every bowl, and for the silver bowls by weight for every bowl, and for the altar of incense, refined gold by weight, and gold for the plans for the chariot, and the cherubim that spread out and cover the ark of the Lord's covenant. All this, David said, I have been made to understand in writing from the Lord's hand, even all the works of this pattern. David said to Solomon his son, "Be strong and courageous, and do it. Don't be afraid nor be dismayed, for the Lord God, even my God, is with you. He will not fail you nor forsake you until all the work for the service of the Lord's house is finished. Behold, there are the divisions of the priests and the Levites for all the service of God's house. Every willing man who has skill for any kind of service shall be with you in all kinds of work. Also, the captains and all the people will be entirely at your command." Chapter 29. David the king said to all the assembly, "Solomon my son, whom alone God has chosen, is yet young and tender, and the work is great, for the palace is not for man, but for the Lord God. Now I have prepared with all my might for the house of my God the gold for the things of gold, the silver for the things of silver, the bronze for the things of bronze, iron for the things of iron, and wood for the things of wood, also onyx stones, stones to be set, stones for inlaid work of various colors, all kinds of precious stones, and marble stones in abundance. In addition, because I have set my affection on the house of my God, since I have a treasure of my own of gold and silver, I give it to the house of my God, over and above all that I have prepared for the holy house, even 3,000 talents of gold, of the gold of Ophir, and 7,000 talents of refined silver, with which to overlay the walls of the houses, of gold for the things of gold, and of silver for the things of silver, and for all kinds of work to be made by the hands of artisans. Who then offers willingly to consecrate himself today to the Lord? Then the princes of the fathers' households, and the princes of the tribes of Israel, and the captains of thousands and of hundreds, with the rulers over the king's work, offered willingly. And they gave for the service of God's house of gold 5,000 talents and 10,000 derricks, of silver 10,000 talents, of bronze 18,000 talents, and of iron 100,000 talents. People with whom precious stones were found gave them to the treasure of the Lord's house, under the hand of Jehiel the Gershonite. Then the people rejoiced, because they offered willingly, because with a perfect heart they offered willingly to the Lord. And David the king also rejoiced with great joy. Therefore David blessed the Lord before all the assembly. And David said, "You are blessed, Lord, the God of Israel our Father, forever and ever. Yours, Lord, is the greatness, the power, the glory, the victory, and the majesty. For all that is in the heavens and in the earth is yours. Yours is the kingdom, Lord, and you are exalted as head above all. Both riches and honor come from you, and you rule over all. In your hand is power and might. It is in your hand to make great and to give strength to all. Now therefore, our God, we thank you and praise your glorious name. But who am I and what is my people, that we should be able to offer so willingly as this? For all things come from you, and we have given you of your own. For we are strangers before you and foreigners as all our fathers were. Our days on the earth are as a shadow, and there is no remaining. Lord our God, all this store that we have prepared to build you a house for your holy name comes from your hand, and is all your own. I know also, my God, that you try the heart and have pleasure in uprightness. As for me, in the uprightness of my heart, I have willingly offered all these things. Now I have seen with joy your people, who are present here, offer willingly to you. Lord, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Israel, our fathers, keep this desire forever in the thoughts of the heart of your people, and prepare their heart for you. And give to Solomon my son a perfect heart, to keep your commandments, your testimonies, and your statutes, and to do all these things, and to build the palace, for which I have made provision." Then David said to all the assembly, "Now bless the Lord your God." All the assembly blessed the Lord, the God of their fathers, and bowed down their heads and prostrated themselves before the Lord and the king. They sacrificed sacrifices to the Lord and offered burnt offerings to the Lord on the next day after that day, even 1,000 bulls, 1,000 rams, and 1,000 lambs, with their drink offerings and sacrifices in abundance for all Israel, and ate and drank before the Lord on that day with great gladness. They made Solomon the son of David king the second time, and anointed him before the Lord to be prince, and Zadok to be priest. Then Solomon sat on the throne of the Lord as king instead of David his father, and prospered, and all Israel obeyed him. All the princes, the mighty men, and also all of the sons of King David submitted themselves to Solomon the king. The Lord magnified Solomon exceedingly in the sight of all Israel, and gave to him such royal majesty as had not been on any king before him in Israel. Now David the son of Jesse reigned over all Israel. The time that he reigned over Israel was 40 years. He reigned 7 years in Hebron, and he reigned 33 years in Jerusalem. He died at a good old age, full of days, riches, and honor, and Solomon his son reigned in his place. Now the acts of David the king, first and last, behold, they are written in the history of Samuel the seer, and in the history of Nathan the prophet, and in the history of Gad the seer, with all his reign and his might, and the events that involved him, Israel, and all the kingdoms of the lands.